question their schedule is a weak schedule. Most of the teams that they played this year were below 500, but that win over St. James really sent shockwaves around 3A. Not only did they beat St. James by 2 touchdowns, but they had to come from 2 touchdowns behind to win. So if that didn't send a message, I don't know what did, but I guarantee you they're coming into a hostile environment here tonight, as we can tell around us. And this Amite football team looking to play much better than they did a week ago against Notre Dame of Crowley.
Well, you look at the Warriors, and of course they sit in a traditional 4-3 defense. Not many guys go both ways, and they're just solid on defense, solid on offense, and offense, Mark, what does Amite try to do, and how do they confuse people?
Well, as everybody knows, Amite has the two-headed monster. You have CJ Batiste that can hurt you inside. Then you have the likes of Oscar Perry and others who can hurt you with the speed sweep package, and also a capable quarterback in Brandon Wagner, who has been outstanding this year. And he has really evolved, I think, over the last 3 years since he played in his first game against Independence as a mere sophomore and led them down the field. And he has really come on as a quarterback. And this Amite offense, very, very tough to stop. You can ask Notre Dame last week. They shut down CJ Batiste, held him to 69 yards, but lo and behold, up jumps Oscar Perry to bite him for 130 via the speed sweep.
So we get ready for the clash of the Titans for the all-important trip to New Orleans and the Superdome. And we'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this. Well, we're back, Mark, and the Warriors have won the toss and have elected to receive. Of course, back deep to receive for the Warriors will be number 80, Oscar Perry, and I'm looking for number 6, Jarrell Carter, who gets out on the field. Kicking off for the Tigers will be number 84, Alan Rainey. So, Mark, we get set for a semifinal match with the Superdome.
And this should be good as advertised. Marty, of course, Amite choosing to receive the football first. Benton, excellent defensively coming in, and they have been stingy all year long, but they have yet to face an offensive team quite as powerful as this Amite bunch, as Dorsey Manning set to kick it off for the Benton Tigers, and we are ready for football. Line drive kick. This will come down to Oscar Perry at the 12. Fumbles it momentarily. Has it. Looks for a block. Comes back through the middle of the line of the seam and is up to around the 26-yard line, where the Amite Warriors will have it. First down and 10, and pads already popping here in the early going.
Well, we see Perry having a little problems with the kickoff, and right there, Benton comes down and lays a lick on Perry. So, Mark, we'll see what Coach Donald Career offensively decide. Does he start off with CJ Batiste up the middle, or does he go with his speed sweep?
It's going to be an interesting strategy as Big Roy Stroud, 6'5", 298, anchors that Benton defensive front. Also Matt Lawrence at linebacker, 210 pounds, standing at 6'1". And this Benton defense has been excellent all year, not overly big outside of Stroud, but they are outstanding. Here's Perry in motion. He'll have it on the speed sweep, turns the corner. Big running room up towards first down yardage to about the 37-yard line, and quickly Amite showing that they are quicker off the football on the first initial play of the ball game.
Well, that certainly was the case, Mark, and you know, you come in trying to defend. You talked about the two-headed monster, and right there, that's a good sign early on for the Warriors to get Oscar Perry loose around the end. So it will be a first down for the Warriors.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Calvin Hall, the excellent free safety for Benton, being recruited nationally by a lot of national powers. Perry in motion again on the speed sweep, turns the corner, inside, has about 6. Make it about 6 yards, up to about the 43.5-yard line. Brought down there on the play by Donald Anderson. And Amite quickly going again to Oscar Perry in the speed sweep package. And he has torched Benton for 17 yards on the first 2 plays.
Well, you look at Oscar Perry, Mark, and it doesn't look like that he's running that fast, but he's like a racehorse. He has fluid motions, and he just seems to outrun everyone.
Amite with 3 wideout split. Perry in motion again. They'll turn, hand to Batiste. He's met at the line of scrimmage, forges ahead. About a yard short of the first down, and again, Benton trying to stuff the middle. You have to take Batiste away, Marty. He will kill you if you do not, and they're going to can be content to give up the speed sweep, and right there Batiste 2 hard-earned yards short of the first down.
Well, you see what Benton wants to do. They want to get, they don't obviously don't want to give up any big plays, but they're going to take away the middle. And those front 4 guys that they have up the middle are quite the big guys. And right there, they stop Batiste short.
Third down, less than 1. Ball at the 47-yard line. Wagner calls for the football, hands it to Batiste. He'll forge ahead, has the first down, I believe. But it was Roy Stroud who blew up the middle of the line of scrimmage there. And Batiste strong enough to bounce off of Stroud, who's 290 pounds, no small man, but excellent second effort by CJ Batiste.
Well, it was, Mark, and you see right away that Benton very tough up front. You know, Amite, obviously, when talking to the coaches early in the week, did not really feel comfortable with Batiste up the middle. They felt more comfortable with the speed play, and right now I'm seeing evidence early on of Benton being tough up the middle.
No backs behind Brandon Wagner. He'll send Perry in motion again. He'll fake, fire the football wide open. Is Thompson. He'll break a tackle up for the first down to the 35-yard line. That is an excellent play call by Donald Career. I tell you what, another fabulous coaching job by the legend. Donald Career seeking a 3rd trip to the state finals here tonight.
Well, Mark, that was a legendary call right there. He split 2 receivers out to the left, getting Benton thinking to the speed play to the left. They faked the speed play. The cornerback pulled up. An Amite receiver went deep, and Thompson settled into a zone and was wide open for the first down.
Amite marching the football. They'll send Huron in motion. On the zone play, this is Batiste, tries to get outside, and he's brought down on an excellent open field tackle by Calvin Hall. And you can see how or why Calvin Hall is a big-time recruit. He came from his free safety position, Marty, to run down the outstanding CJ Batiste.
Well, that was a great play, Mark. And you talk about Benton, you know, you don't be 13-0 for nothing. And right there, Calvin Hall. But Calvin Hall's got to be careful. They see him committing and going toward a run that quickly. He'll get burnt as the night goes on.
I have to agree with you. It'll be a matter of time before Amite goes off top with no free safety in the middle of the field. Perry in motion again on the speed sweep fake. Wide open again is Thompson. He'll shake a tackler. He'll take it inside the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Warriors, but a flag is down on the play. And it looks like Amite may have this one called back, Marty, as the flag is down. It could be offsides. Let's see. And Amite will be called, I believe, for illegal procedure, and that is unfortunate. But again, Damian Thompson is wide open, nobody around him.
Well, no doubt about it, Mark. And we talk about the penalties and the turnovers that Amite had last week, and they cannot afford to have that because that's a big momentum right there, and it takes the momentum away from you. Instead of a touchdown, now you're backed up to 2nd down and 15. So we'll see what Amite decides to do right now as a big, big penalty early on thwarts a 40-yard touchdown from Brandon Wagner to Damian Thompson.
Now the penalty, Marty, really had nothing to do with the outcome of the play. It calls the touchdown back, but Benton and Coach Mitch Downey have to be concerned. They are at a severe speed disadvantage to this Amite offense. As we saw right there, Thompson breaking tackles, sliced right through the middle of that Benton defense for the touchdown that was nullified by the illegal procedure call. Again, no backs in the backfield. Solomon in motion this time for the Warriors. Wagner looking over center. He'll sprint to the left. Looking, firing, has a man open. It's Solomon, complete for the first down. And Amite taking advantage. Benton overloading the line of scrimmage, trying to stop the speed sweep in the zone. They have all kinds of room in the passing lane.
Well, Mark, you just don't know how hard it is for a right-handed quarterback to roll to his left, sprinting to his left, and be able to make that pass. I mean, that is a good athletic move by Brandon Wagner.
And we talked about Wagner's emergence over the 1999 season, and he has been relatively quiet with Batiste and company doing most of the damage, but he makes a statement that he will be heard from tonight. Wagner on the quarterback counter is hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss. And Wagner will be stopped in the backfield. Looks like it'll be a loss of about 3 or 4 on the play. And now it looks like Benton starting to overcompensate a little bit outside. It may be time for CJ Batiste between the tackles.
Well, that's exactly what happened. What's happening, Mark. you know, Benton's got to figure out what do they want to take away. And early on, they wanted to take CJ Batiste up the middle away, but now they've made a few adjustments and they're trying to take away the outside. It looks like the Warriors may have to pass a little more tonight than they'd like to.
2nd down and 13 on the loss of 3. Ball is at the 27-yard line. Batiste in motion. Wagner fakes, fires to a wide open Huron, and it's incomplete. And Marty, he had him all alone, but it looked like he had a little bit of trouble getting clearance from the line of scrimmage. If he would have been able to connect, it would have been a touchdown.
Well, those are little plays right there, Mark, that you got to connect on right there. And Damian Huron breaking wide open across the middle, and Brandon Wagner just hurriedly threw it over his head, like you say, a wide open touchdown. So it's going to be a 3rd down and 13 for Amite. And Benton living on the edge early in this first quarter.
Amite coming out with a dominant drive, but face a 3rd down and 13. Already had 1 touchdown called back. Man in motion is Perry. Again, faking and firing the pass is a lateral. That's going to be they're going to call it incomplete, and Brandon Wagner got away with one there as he threw the ball sideways on the outlet. It looked like towards CJ Batiste. Marty, that could have been a fumble.
Well, it looked like it was thrown behind him, and right there, it looked like Amite did get away with one, so now Amite will be in to attempt a field goal of 43 yards, Mark. So right now, this is a big, big point to this game. Amite, you know, you want to keep your confidence level to get some points right now. And Damian Thompson, of course, the receiver, having a little extra time to put it on his kicking shoe.
Damian Thompson, of course, an excellent kicking leg, kicks the ball routinely out of the end zone. Snap is down, kick is up. It's going to have the distance, but it looks like it's going to be left and no good. And that field goal, Marty, would have been good by, probably from 50 yards, but it just did hook to the left, but Thompson put a charge into it.
Well, he certainly did, but you gotta give Benton credit. And what this does is this gives Benton all kind of confidence. You know, Mark, you're on the road, and Amite easily drives down the field, but they come away with no points. So we'll see how Amite handles this always tough wing T formation.
Benton offensively, a wing T offense, as Marty mentioned, very small up front, but very quick. As Spencer Feaster has a man in motion, calls for the football. He'll hand to Washington, the fullback, and he'll have maybe a yard, and that'll be it. Johnny Washington, who was the big gun last week in their win over St. James, and all of a sudden we see Amite taking over up front, and that was an excellent defensive play.
Well, it was, and Mr. Steady, who's been there all year, Dorset Buckles on the tackle, so it brings up a 2nd down and 8 for the Benton Tigers.
Tigers come out in a double wing set. Feaster sends a man in motion. He'll give on the inside trap. This is Patton, I believe, or Toscani Minton on the carry. He'll have about 4, where the Tigers will have a 3rd down and 5. And right there, the misdirection got some inside running room for Mr. Minton.
Well, it certainly did, Mark, and right there, not very big backs for Benton, but the guys are quick. So brings up an all-important 3rd and 5 for the Benton Tigers.
Minton goes in motion. This will be Feaster, play action pass. He's looking, fires it, has a man down there, but it's incomplete. That's excellent coverage on the play. And that's Jarrell Carter, and Amite asserting their defensive dominance here in the early going.
Well, they certainly are, Mark, and it looks like Amite in their 4-3, but they've put a variation of it. They've brought, you know, usually Amite is deeper off the ball. They have the cornerbacks deep, but it looks like they've gone to 8 men in a box against this team and just going man up on the pass.
Amite, no question about it, has the physical advantage in this football game, as Jarrell Carter will stand at his 35-yard line and sets to receive the punt. That'll be Donald Anderson. He gets a good snap from center. Flag is down. This will be an end-over-end kick that Carter will let hit. And Fields at his 47 tries to slip a tackle, is dropped right at midfield. But flags are down, and if this is against Amite, no, it's going to be against Benton. So Amite will have it at midfield. Excellent field position, Marty Morgan.
And it is, and it's a good play by Jarrell Carter. You don't want to get that bounce and get you back to about your 30. By him taking that ball, although it was a dangerous move by Carter, but it paid off, giving Amite excellent field position at the midfield strike.
5:46 to play in the first quarter. No score. Glad you're with us. Amite marched convincingly on their first possession, had a touchdown called back. Eventually missed a field goal from 43 yards by Damian Thompson. Benton took over the football when it went 3 downs and out, and Amite has it again at midfield on the march once again. St. James, of course, jumped on this Benton team 14-0 last week as Oscar Perry goes in motion, has it on the speed sweep, cuts outside, and will be wrapped up and fall forward for a gain of 1. And on the tackle for the Benton Tigers, let's see who that was. Dante White on the play, and again, Benton starting to shut down the Amite running game.
Well, they certainly are, Mark, and what they're doing is they're widening their splits a little bit defensively, and Amite thus far having a tough time of it. You know, and I know they don't like to do this. I say they don't like to do it because in years past, all they did was basically throw. But this year, with the luxury of Batiste, they hadn't had to throw. So it looks like they may have to throw more tonight.
Solomon in motion behind Wagner. Surveys the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 9. He'll roll to his right, looking, has a man wide open, but he chooses to throw the deep ball, and the pass is incomplete. Broken up there by Anderson. He had a wide open Julian Harris on the play, Marty, and he chose to go the deep route.
Well, he did choose to go to deep route, and it looks like Solomon had a small step on him, but an excellent athletic move by Anderson right there. So Amite faced with a 3rd down and 9. And Mark, at what point, I know it's only 4:52 to go in the first quarter, but you know, the longer this Benton team stays in it, the more confidence they gain.
That's exactly what happened last week against St. James. They hung around in the football game and was able to take control in the second half. Man in motion, Wagner again looking, can't find anybody. He'll roll, has a man open, and will slip a tackle, fires it complete, and has the first down. Still on his feet for the Amite first down to the 38-yard line. And on the play for the Warriors, that's number 17, Cletus Gordon, and that is excellent awareness by Brandon Wagner.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, that particular play may not show up in the stat sheet, but for Wagner to run around like that, and for his receivers to have the presence of mind to come back to the ball like that is just a great play by Amite. So picking up a much-needed first down to the Tiger 36-yard line.
Batiste, the lone setback. Amite with a 1st and 10. Man in motion, here's Batiste. He is hit at the line of scrimmage, falls forward, and there you go. You see Benton doing the same thing Notre Dame did last week, Marty. They're submarining those defensive linemen. Amite, of course, foot to foot, and really not a lot of natural holes created anyway, and Benton just making a pile at the line of scrimmage. Batiste has nowhere to run.
Well, he doesn't, and when you submarine like that, you're right, it does create a pile. But what Amite will probably do is go to an option off of that, and at some point they'll have some success with that because that'll take away 4 front linemen, and it'll just be a defensive end and a cornerback one-on-one.
Batiste managed to pick up 3 on the play. Here is quarterback trap and into the backfield, and breaking that up is White on the play, and also number 68 for Benton. That is Clemaine Lawrence. And Brandon Wagner on the quarterback trap. And again, Benton is just firing straight ahead up front defensively, getting penetration in the backfield, and that's how you counteract the Amite offense.
Well, it is, and Benton, Mark, doing a nice job. You know, early on it looked like Amite may run away with this thing, but right now the Benton Tigers are defensively have stepped it up and are doing an excellent job, and they're showing why they're 13-0.
3rd down and 8. Loss of 1 on the play. Wagner with man in motion, fires it. It's complete. That's Thompson again. He'll be close to a first down, and they have no answer for Damian Thompson on the outside. Amite basically running a combo route over there, Marty, and Benton can't cover it.
But Mark, it was awfully close from being intercepted and taken back the other way. But like you say, Damian Thompson having a night thus far early on. As they will come out and measure, and it'll be very close to a first down. 2:50 to go in the first quarter, and no score from Russell Memorial Stadium between Benton and Amite. So Amite does come up about a foot short, and I would certainly think that Amite would go for it.
That's going to be 4th down and less than 1, and Amite has to go for it here, Marty. You already missed 1 field goal attempt. You have nothing to lose. You're at the 26-yard line. And right here, you can probably look for a quarterback sneak from Brandon Wagner. He'll have the field spread to his right, twin receivers. To the near side of your screen, Batiste will be your lone setback. 2:48 and counting here in the first quarter. Benton stacks the line of scrimmage. Perry in motion. No hand to Batiste. He's hit, breaks a tackle, and should have the first down on second effort. And should be a first down for Amite on second effort by Batiste, depending on the spot. But again, Benton basically, all they're doing, Marty, is they are firing straight ahead with their defensive front 4 attacking the Amite offensive line.
Well, they are, and they are doing an excellent job. And Batiste, as big and strong as he is, just got that all on his own. It's going to be very close. And he got the first down, Mark. So Amite kind of living on the edge early on in this first quarter.
And I know something that Amite doesn't like to do. They haven't done this in a long, long time. But, Marty, they may have to widen some splits to try to create some natural running lanes for CJ Batiste.
Well, no doubt about it. Or, Mark, when you hand it to him up the middle, he's got to know to bump it outside, because there is just no running inside against this Benton front.
Nonetheless, first down and 10. Warriors on the zone play. Batiste gets a block, cuts it inside, is stood up by Lawrence. And again, Lawrence with excellent running or excellent defensive play there, but Batiste pushes that pile forward. And when it looks like he doesn't have much, Marty, you look up at the chains, he has 5 yards.
Well, that's just a young man just running, big legs right there, hard to tackle. You very seldom see one guy take him down. But, you know, I just talked about it. They may just go ahead and ditch up the middle and pop it outside like they did.
Right there, the zone play getting some yardage, as would be the case against the Benton front 7. Second down, we'll call it a long 5. Ball at the 22-yard line. Wagner sends Perry in motion to the left side of your screen, calls for the football. Wagner, busted play. He'll reverse his running room, and he's hit for a loss. And that was basically a busted play. Looked like CJ Batiste went the wrong way.
Well, it was, Mark, and it was going to be wide open because Perry had went in motion, and the outside linebacker went with him, and there was just nobody over there. That was going to be a first down and much more. But, like you say, a busted play, maybe something Amite put in this week. So, third down and 7 for the Warriors against a gamely Benton Tiger defense.
And Amite can ill afford to waste opportunities, Marty. They've already had 1 touchdown called back and knocking on the door again, and really need to convert here. Third down and 7 after the loss of 2. Wagner with no backs. 3-step drop, fires it. This is way out of bounds and wouldn't have been complete anyway. Donald Career is upset, wants a timeout. And apparently Amite is confused offensively.
Well, they are, Mark, and a little bit may have to do with this Benton Tiger defense. Tonight's game sponsors are Napa Auto Parts. Quality parts, great service, and super prices is what you will find at Napa Auto Parts. We invite everyone to experience the Napa Auto Parts winning tradition at Napa Auto Parts, 209 South 1st Street in Amite. Call 748-7111. Also, People's Bank of Amite. Stop by People's Bank of Amite for all your banking needs. People's Bank is a name you can trust. They are located at 201 West Oak Street in Amite. Give them a call at 748-9476. For the people, by the people, we are People's Bank.
It's like Donald Career is going to opt for the field goal attempt after the timeout as Damian Thompson brings in the kicking shoe. And I'm not sure if I was trying to see what Career was talking about. He was talking to one of the officials. I don't know if he wanted a pass interference call or not, but nonetheless, he was upset about something. I don't know if it was his own ball club as raindrops start to trickle down here at Russell Memorial Stadium. And that is one thing that could really equalize this football game.
Well, they could, Mark, because what that does is take away the cutting ability on the speed play. And once again, Amite is denied. So with 34 seconds to go in the first quarter, no score between Benton and Amite.
And Amite has dominated the entire proceedings here tonight. Benton has only run 3 offensive plays in the first quarter. And you hate to let a team like this hang around in the ball game. Amite, of course, from our vantage point, Marty has the physical advantage, but a very well-coached Benton football team, and you just don't want to give them too many opportunities. First down and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Feaster with one lone setback, hands it off. This is Minton. He'll fall forward ahead for maybe a couple of yards, and that'll be it. And Amite just doing an excellent job pursuing from the backside. They've shut down that buck sweep play.
Well, they certainly are, Mark. And, if you had told me before this game started that Amite early on, and it is very early, would stop Benton like this, I would tell you were crazy. But on the other hand, I wouldn't have thought Benton would have done such a good job defensively as they have in the first quarter.
Second down and 6. They'll give him 4 on first down, and that will be the final play of the first quarter of action. Your score, Amite nothing, Benton nothing. And Marty Morgan, let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Tonight's game being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Quality parts, great service, and super prices is what you will find at Napa Auto Parts. Call us at 748-7111. Napa Auto Parts proudly supports the Amite Warriors in their bid for the 1999 state championship. Also, People's Bank of Amite. Stop by People's Bank of Amite for all your banking needs. People's Bank is a name you can trust. Call them at 748-9476. For the people, by the people, we are People's Bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
As we march to the other end of the playing field, Benton will have it second down and 6. And apparently Minton got a little bit further along than we thought. On first down, they'll have it at the 20-03-yard line. As we head into the second quarter of action here tonight, Amite, 2 promising drives that were turned away by a stingy Benton defense. And the Tigers have it for their second possession of the night. Wing right, offset formation left. Feaster overlooks the Amite defense. Long snap count, calls for it, hands or fakes on the bootleg play, fires it complete and dropped. And they're going to say he did not hold on to it, but that was an excellent throw and catch to Kenny Minton on the play. Or that was, Seamus Patton, I should say, and that'll bring up third down and 7, but an excellent design play there by the Benton Tigers.
Well, Mark, what I'm most impressed by with Benton is how well they're coached. I mean, we talked to some news reporters early, and they said that they haven't seen a team with this much organizational skills, albeit warm-ups, ever. So, this team right now is a very well-coached team and doing a nice job against Amite.
Third down and 7. See the tackle trap play inside. Up for first down yardage is Minton. He'll break a tackle, has the first down to the 32. And right there, Benton coming back with a tackle trap. And the hole opened up, and Benton has their first down of the ball game. And it's Toscani Minton on the carry.
And Mark, this Benton team, they're doing exactly what they want to do. They're controlling the clock, keeping the ball out of Amite's hands, and right now, they've got to be full of confidence.
Feaster, another long snap count. Benton changing formations. Here's the buck sweep. This will be Minton again, and he's hit for a gain of a couple. As we check the pile, Chris Gordon getting up off the bottom, along with Dorsett Buckles, as the rain begins to come down pretty hard here, Marty Morgan, and this could really change the complexion of this ball game.
Well, it certainly may, Mark. I mean, you talk about the speed sweep and everything else, so we'll get our umbrellas out and try to call this thing as best we can. So second down and 8 for the Tigers, and they'll be called for a illegal motion right there, so that'll back them up 5 yards. And Mark, we finally did something right. We came prepared.
Well, almost prepared. My umbrella's a little too big here, and I've been told to put it back down. But again, Benton with the illegal procedure call, and they are penalized 5. It'll bring up 2nd down and 12. 10:46 to play, and we talked about rain. That is one thing that can really equalize any football game, and it's coming down pretty hard here. And we thought it might stay out of the area, but apparently we were not correct. Feaster on the inside give. This is Patton, has nowhere to go, tries to bounce it outside, and he's dropped for a loss. A big loss deep in the backfield. And let's see who it was on the play for Amite. Buckles and company in on the tackle. Also Milton Harrell on the play, and another loss of 5, or make it 6, and it'll be 3rd down and 20 for the Benton Tigers.
And Mark, right now this rain, it looks like it's just going to settle here and come at a steady pace. So, you know, we could be in for a long night as far as this rain, and like you say, that's going to give the advantage to Benton.
Well, we'll certainly neutralize any advantage Amite has in terms of team speed. On the straight ahead give, up ahead for maybe a yard or 2, and that's about it, as Johnny Washington, the fullback. But again, right there is James Brown on the tackle as he shuts down the middle inside, and it is coming down in sheets. And this could get ugly here tonight before it's over with.
Well, it could, and I just hope it doesn't drive us out of here, Mark, as we're just going to have to face it. We're going to get a little wet at some point. So right now, Amite does their job defensively, and with 9:16 to go in the first half, there is no score, with the rain just barreling down in Russell Memorial Stadium. But the game must go on, and back deep to receive will be Jarrell Carter. And that is going to be a roughing the punting penalty against the Warriors, and that's going to give Benton a 1st down?
Yeah, it will, because it's a 15-yard penalty, and Benton will have the football 1st and 10, and that's something with this kind of rain, Marty, you're going to get pretty good field position, or you think you would anyway with a wet punt. You don't want to, they're going to say it's blocked, so they're going to waive the penalty off, I believe. So Amite gets a break. As they say, the punt was tipped. And you or I, either one, didn't see it, but apparently the official did, and Amite comes away the benefactor of the waved-off flag, Marty Morgan.
Well, I mean, it could be a makeup call for the touchdown. We saw Donald Career getting on the officials, and believe you me, that makes a difference. When you get in the official's ear, they hear it enough, it kind of bothers them. So Amite kind of got away with one in my estimation. So they will have the ball in their at their own 31-yard line. And Mark, this is an area where you don't want to fumble.
No doubt about it. Amite's having trouble running the football, and this could affect the passing game. This will be Batiste straight ahead, and he'll have maybe 1. That'll be about it, as Benton is just content to stack up the interior of that offensive line, and Amite not getting a whole lot of push inside.
Well, they aren't, and Benton, you know, they've decided to put 8 men in a box, so to speak, and they have done a great job up front. And that big fella up there, Roy Stroud, has been a big part of it.
Marty, you and I talked about rain coming up here. Who would it favor? If Amite has to rely on their speed sweep package, it could favor Benton because it's tough to make cuts on a wet field. Here's Perry, and he slips, just like we talked about. Had some running room up inside, but he slips down trying to make the cut. And that cannot be to the liking of this Amite coaching staff.
And, you know, even though it quits raining, it's rained enough that where the field is soaked enough to affect Amite. So Amite kind of thrown, so to speak, a chink in their armor tonight with this rain. And something they obviously may have expected but did not want. And it will affect the speed sweep.
Rain begins to lighten up just a little bit here. No backs in the backfield. 3rd down and 8. Perry in motion. This will be Wagner. Has a heavy rush. He's hit. Throws the ball. It's complete, I believe, but it won't be good enough for the 1st down. Only about a gain of 2 or 3. On the play is Oscar Perry out of the backfield. And Amite's going to have to punt it away for the first time tonight, as it'll bring up 4th down and 5. Ball at the 39-yard line. And again, the rain lightens up, and hopefully, Marty, if we're lucky, it'll stay out of here for the rest of the evening.
Well, let's hope so, Mark. But, you know, you got to be impressed with the push that Benton's getting inside. And, Mark, we are down to 6 minutes to go in the first half, and this may be one of the fastest moving first halves I've ever seen.
Well, both teams have been running the football or throwing completions, so clock really hasn't had an opportunity to stop. Here's a punt. It's a high floating end-over-end kick. Calvin Hall will field the football at his 23-yard line, and he's hit at the 31 or 32 and dropped right there by, looks like Harrell on the tackle for Amite. So Benton will have it for their third offensive possession, and they haven't been able to do much with it either, Marty Morgan. They were 3 and out on their first possession, did pick up 1 first down on a third down conversion on their second possession, but that's been about it.
Well, no doubt about it, but, you know, you'd like to think that Amite can continue this all game, but you know as well as I do, when you run the wing T, at some point there's always 1 or 2 big plays in that offense.
Brandon Hornsby on the tackle of Calvin Hall as Benton has it 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. This is Patton with the football in the tall sweep, has running room, breaks outside into the secondary. He'll turn the corner into Amite territory to the 32-yard line. And Seamus Patton showing flashes of speed, gets outside as Benton right there sends a man in motion, overloads that side of the defensive front, Marty, and they got the block, and he turns it outside for the first down.
Well, an excellent play call by the Benton Tigers, and right there, that may be something that they picked up from the Notre Dame tape. So right now, Amite, Mark, may be in a little trouble.
Well, certainly anytime you're hooked up in a nothing ball game, you have to be concerned, no question about it. It's a good Benton football team. Feaster has Patton in motion, gives to Washington straight ahead. He'll have the first down into the secondary, fighting hard. And Benton starting to solve the Amite riddle. That's back-to-back big gainers for first down yardage to the 33-yard line. And Amite perhaps a little bit back on their heels, Marty Morgan, and Benton starting to get fired up.
Well, they are, and that's what happens, you know. We talked about Amite, you know, the confidence factor, letting this Benton team hang around, and that's what they're getting, and they have got 2 excellent play calls down to the Amite 32-yard line.
First down and 10, ball at the 38. Feaster surveys the line of scrimmage on the play-action fake. Looks, fires it, it's intercepted. Dorsett buckles, runs over his own man, breaks a tackle, still on his feet. He'll be stopped at the 25-yard line, and Amite will have it first down and 10. And Benton should have been flagged for an unsportsmanlike conduct, as after the whistle, number 75, Greg Dowdy came in and shoved Dorsett Buckles, Marty, but no flag.
Well, no flag at all, but that's the big play that Amite might need. A spark, some kind of spark to get them going offensively. When it looks like Benton's threatening and making some noise, Buckles steps in for a pass interception. So Amite will have the ball on their own 27-yard line, and let's see what Donald Career tries to do offensively.
And Amite has to be thankful to the Benton coaching staff for going to a play-action pass after 2 big running gains. This will be Batiste, has running room around the right side, cuts it back inside, plows over Lawrence at about the 32-yard line up to the 33, where Batiste has 4 on the carry, and Amite will have it second down and 6.
Well, Amite just loaded up the right side and had all blockers right there and decided to sprint draw Batiste around the right side. And right there, with the way the penetration that Benton's getting up the middle, that's what Amite's going to have to do. And I think that play can be successful for 4 or 5 all night long, Mark.
Second down, call it a long 5. This will be Batiste again, left side. He is hit, breaks another tackle up to the 35-yard line. Batiste showing his lower center of gravity there. A lot of young men would have been upended right in their tracks, but he's able to scoot forward for a couple at least and makes this a third down and 3 at the 35-yard line.
So a third down and 3, and right now, Mark, what do you look for out of Amite? Do you take the chance to throw, or do you go back to Batiste?
I tell you what, right here, you're in a luxury position where you can do just about anything. I would think Amite may choose to go play action here as Benton brings everybody up to the line of scrimmage. And this is going to be no flag on the play. Amite moved up front, and Batiste doesn't have the first down. But Amite have some movement prior to the snap, but the officials let the play go. And Marty, they're going to be about a yard short of the first down, and I'm sure the Warriors will elect to punt it away again.
Well, they'll have to punt, and, you know, Benton doing a nice job defensively. And, you know, we've watched the Warriors all year, and this is the best they've been defensed so far this year, Mark, and why?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know how well they've been defensed. They marched almost at will in their first possession, had a touchdown call back, marched it down again, and missed a field goal. They've taken away the dive play, but Amite's just got to continue to do the things they've done here tonight. Here's the punt to Calvin Hall at the 30-yard line, fumbles the football, and slips at the 33, make it the 34, where Benton will have the first down.
So once again, Amite trying to play a game of field position, and Benton will have it at their 34-yard line with 3 minutes to go before half, and we are deadlocked in a good one in this semifinal match here in Amite.
So a ping pong match starting to emerge here tonight. 3 minutes and 6 seconds to play until halftime. Benton with a football at the 34. Overlooks that stingy Amite defense. Washington behind Feaster. Here's the tackle trap, and it's smothered under. Toscani Minton is hammered by Marbury Wilson. And it'll be a loss or perhaps no gain on the play, and Marbury Wilson snuffed it out.
Well, Marbury Wilson did a nice job. We're talking about the front of Benton. Right now, the front of Amite also doing their job. So Marbury Wilson coming up with a big play, bringing it to 2nd down and 10. As we are down to 2:30 before half.
2nd down and 10, ball at the 34. Benton sends Patton in motion behind Feaster. Calls for the football, gives to Washington, stood up at the line of scrimmage, tries to break a tackle, but Dorsett Buckles says, and it's a loss of 1 on the play, and Benton will have it 3rd and 11 from the 33.
So Dorsett Buckles doing a nice job right there defensively. And Mark, what can you say about Dorsett Buckles? They talk about all the linebackers in the state, and kind of an underrated guy in my estimation. All he does is make 20 tackles a game.
From a standpoint of performance, Marty, there's no better middle linebacker in Louisiana. He's a little bit maybe undersized to play that position as far as your druthers, but I'll tell you what, as far as performance, he's as good as they come. Here's Patton, tries to break a tackle, but he stood up at the line of scrimmage. Chris Gordon and company on the tackle. And it's maybe a gain of 1, and Benton will have to punt it away. And with 1:34 to play here, Amite should get the ball back with 2 timeouts, Marty, and enough time to maybe put together some sort of drive.
Well, Mark, other than the first quarter, Amite's had excellent drives, and, you know, now may be the time to go for that block punt.
Well, 1:12 and counting. Warriors still have 2 timeouts. They almost got the last one, got a hand on it. Let's see if they choose to come after it again. Benton will have 3 men and max protect. Pretty good snap. Kick is up. It's a good one. High hanger that Jarrell Carter will field at the 24. Comes back. It's a good block from Chris Gordon, who slips a tackle, still on his feet, hit from behind, and dropped to the 33 with 48 seconds to play. So interesting strategy here. Does Donald Career try to put the ball in the air, try to go for the touchdown, or does he try to cut his losses, go into halftime with a 0-0 score?
Well, Mark, I think Donald Career tries to go for a big play at least once on this particular drive. There's 47 seconds. He has 2 timeouts left, and possibly, maybe, to get in a field goal position once again. As the rain has subsided, and Amite has the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 33, and now Jarrell Carter comes in. Look for him.
Bunch formation, man in motion, Batiste. Here's Wagner looking for the long bomb. That to Carter down the left sideline is incomplete and broken up over there. Couldn't see who the man was on the coverage for Benton. That looked like Kenny Minton on the play. And Marty, 43 for Amite, looked like he was wide open. Let's see if they come back to him, as Amite had an overload and they just went to the 1-man route.
Well, they did, and Jarrell Carter almost made a spectacular catch. But you know, these defensive backs for Benton have done a nice job tonight. That's 3 or 4 times where Amite has just become very close to breaking a big one, but Benton has got there right at the last moment.
40 seconds to play. Benton again, everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Play action fake. Wagner's a man wide open. Solomon. Midfield 45 down and still in bounds, and they'll have to stop the clock for the first down, so Amite's going to have to get to the line of scrimmage and spike this football. As Solomon unable to get the ball out of bounds on the completed pass. But they come right back to what we talked about, Marty. They came to the underneath route.
Well, they did, Mark, and that was a good play right there by the Warrior offense. And the referee is going to stop the play so James Hall can get his mouthpiece.
That's a break for Amite. It allows them to get a play called and get to the line of scrimmage without having to down a football. Taking a long time on the snap count. Here's the roll. Wagner looking, has a man open, complete. That's Gordon, I believe. Up close to another first down. That'll stop the clock with 19 seconds. Warriors will probably burn one of their 2 timeouts here.
And that's an excellent play once again by Wagner. And 19 seconds to go, Amite's got the luxury of having 2 timeouts. We'll see what they decide.
And they will not call the timeout. The official, again, gives them a break by holding up the football here. And they're going to measure for the first down. So Amite with a break on the official timeout for the measurement. And it looked like, from our vantage point, that his forward progress was easily enough for the first down. If this is not a first down, Amite's going to have to sneak it, but it's going to be a first down. And Amite has the luxury here, Marty, of getting to the line of scrimmage and running a quick play.
Well, yes, they do. And they've got 2 receivers out here, and they don't have guys with them. But I look for Damian Huron.
Speed sweep could be a big play here. They'll roll left, looking for the screen. Wagner fires it. It's incomplete, out of bounds, as Cletus Gordon couldn't hang on to it. And I tell you what, Marty, if Benton's with 2 timeouts, if Benton's going to play that defense, a speed sweep could pick up big yardage.
Well, they could. Like you say, they're just allowing Amite to get the underneath routes, and I think Amite's going to take them. They're not allowing the big play. You know, they'll take their chances with another Damian Thompson field goal attempt.
Just 10 seconds to go here. Amite's going to have to put it in the air. Wagner, 3-step drop, fires it. It's complete. Thompson tries to get out of bounds, and he cannot. And they keep him in bounds. They're going to have to call a timeout with 1 second to play, as Damian Thompson tried to fight out of bounds, but Benton, an excellent job over there by Minton and company to keep him in bounds so the clock would still run.
Well, no, good job indeed by Benton. And, you know, you look at this Benton team, Mark, very well coached, very gamely tonight. But on the other side, so is Amite.
Well, Amite's going to try another long field goal attempt. This will be from the left hash mark. Thompson 0 of 2 already in the first half. And this one will be about a 44-yard attempt. He has the leg. If he can get it in the air toward the goalpost, he should be able to make this. But Amite's pretty much dominated the first half from a statistical standpoint. They've had 3 promising drives offensively, but had 1 touchdown called back and have missed 2 other field goals. Benton really only 1 offensive threat, but that was halted by a Dorsett Buckles interception. So Thompson out of the hold of Brandon Wagner, a 43-yard attempt. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's going to be no good off to the left. He hit it straight down the hash, Marty, and had plenty of room, but he hit it right down the hash mark.
Well, Mark, from here it looked good. Maybe I caught the right angle, but nevertheless, they will call it no good. How did it look from your vantage point?
I thought he kicked it right down the hash, and if you kick it down the hash, the goalposts are not as wide as the hash marks, and frankly, from my vantage point, it looked like it was no good all the way, but it was close. But nonetheless, Amite played well in the first half, and Benton hanging on and keeps it to a 0-0 score. We'll be back with your halftime show. You're watching FPTV Channel 17. No score, back after this timeout.
Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator.
For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. Amite, Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters.
Hi, I'm Stacy Chen Romney with the Sensations, and you're watching FPTV, Channel 17.
Ladies and gentlemen, very proud to present the Amite High School Warrior Band, Flag Corps, and Wahoo Dance Team for your halftime entertainment. The band is under the field direction of drum major Jennifer Bagby. Flag Corps captain is Renee Rayburn. Wahoo's captain is Haley Holt. Tonight's show is dedicated to all the singers who are performing in their last halftime performance at Russell Memorial Stadium.
Mike's Glass and Radiator in Independence, where you'll find Mike Muscarella and his crew hard at work on a full range of services. Whether you need a radiator repaired or conditioned, or just your annual inspection sticker, you'll find Mike Muscarella easy to work with. Mike has all styles of glass, custom cut to fit. Need a windshield? Mike Muscarella will have you back on the road in no time. Mike is easy to find, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Mike's Glass and Radiator.
For generations, Citizens Finance has been known as Money Headquarters, with money to lend for any worthwhile purpose. Real estate loans, furniture and appliances, home equity loans, consolidation loans, and first and second mortgages. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters. Stop by today. There's an office near you. Amite, Ponchatoula, Kentwood, Covington, and Hammond. Citizens Finance, your money headquarters.
And welcome back after that rousing halftime performance by the Amite High School Marching Band. And as we get set for the second half kickoff, Benton will receive the football as they will receive the ball defending Amite will kick off defending the west goal line. The first half was 0-0 Marty Morgan, but Amite pretty much dominated the yardage. They moved the ball well, and 3 of their offensive possessions in the first half had 1 touchdown called back, bogged down. Benton made some adjustments. Amite misses 3 field goals in the first half, but really Benton has gotten nothing untracked offensively in the first half.
Well, they sure haven't, Mark. And, you know, the discouraging thing if you Amite, you move the ball the entire first half from the 20s, between the 20s, and you come away with empty points, attempting 3 field goals and not connecting on any of them. So, you know, you got to feel good that you're stopping Benton, but on the other hand, you got to feel a little down because you haven't put any points on the board.
Both of these football teams, apparently second half football teams, although neither team really trailed much all year. Benton came from behind down 14-0 and 14-7 at the half last week against St. James. Amite, likewise, came back from a 13-7 deficit at halftime. So this is going to be a battle between 2 teams that really excel in the second half.
Well, no doubt about it, and that's an interesting point, Mark. You talk about last week, Benton showing a lot of character, and also Amite showing a lot of character. So we are set for this all-important game as the winner will advance to the Louisiana Superdome next week for a matchup with either Carr or Charlings Catholic. So we are set.
Thompson, a line drive kick which will bounce and be fielded at the 12-yard line. Coming up and hit right there at the 12 or so about the 15 or 16-yard line as number 8 on the play for the Benton Tigers as we check our roster, which are basically falling apart, Marty, due to the rain. That was Donald Anderson on the return. For Amite on the tackle, that was Joseph Foster. So Benton will be in action with the football at about the 16-yard line. Benton rattled off 3 first downs in the first half, really only had 1 drive of any significance, which was turned away by a Dorsett Buckles interception. Amite, conversely, drove 3 times into Benton territory to came away with no points. Here's Washington on first down on the gut play or the G play right up the middle, picks up about 5 yards. And that's one of the better offensive runs tonight for Benton. They did have 2 long runs on their only promising drive of the first half. Right there, they pick up 4.
Well, they did, and like you say, it's just a gut play up the middle. And Benton, in no hurry offensively, you know, they figured to ball control, and they probably think if they are close to Amite in the end, they have a chance.
Well, they certainly do, especially with their ball control style of offense. Second down, and let's call it 6. Ball at the 15-yard line. Benton in motion, has it on the buck sweep, turns it back inside, and he's hit for a gain of 1. And that's Dorsett Buckles on the play, along with, I couldn't see who it was, Chris Gordon on the tackle. So a gain of 1, and those 2 guys can shut any offense down.
Well, they certainly have. You know, they're 3-year starters. They've been stalwarts for Amite for 3 years, and you wouldn't expect nothing else from them. And it is important for one of these teams early on to set the tone to start this first half, Mark.
Big play here, 3rd down and 5. Amite trying to get a big defensive stop. Here's the counter play. to number 3, that's Patton, and he is up for the first down as he turned the corner and picked up just enough yardage for the first down, give him 6. And Benton keeps the drive alive, and that's a big play for them because instead of 3 and out, they're able to drive the football and run that very important clock.
Well, it is, Mark, and they took a page out of Donald Career's playbook. The old speed sweep right there, and Patton picked up the first down. And last week, Amite had trouble with a diminutive guy in Williams, and right now, Patton, the little diminutive one for Benton, is giving them trouble.
First down and 10, ball at the 26-yard line. Tigers with the football. Just underway here in the third quarter. This is Minton in motion, straight give Washington. He breaks a tackle into the secondary, has about 8, maybe 9 yards. And grabbing a hold of him and bringing him down is Leonard Brumfield. And if he breaks the tackle of Brumfield, he may have had big yardage, but Brumfield showing strength, hauling down the 200-pound Johnny Washington.
Well, what happened on that play is Washington looked like he kind of got hidden behind some of his linemen and kind of was peeking behind his linemen and picking holes, and he picked up 8 big yards.
That was the play, Marty, we talked about. That's the gut play out of the wing tee to the fullback right off the center's butt. And that's the play Amite's got to shut down here tonight. And they have done it thus far outside of that play. Here's Washington again. He has running room. First down yardage up to the 46-yard line as Brumfield comes up with a tackle once again. And Benton looks a little fired up here. Amite looks a little lackadaisical coming out of the halftime locker room.
Well, they do, Mark, and early on it looks like Benton might have made the necessary adjustments, albeit Amite has not had the ball offensively. But, you know, if you're Benton, you got to feel good picking up 2 first downs, and what you've done is brought the clock down to 9 minutes.
The thing about the wing tee, it's not a power offense. It's an offense that's designed to block on angles. You don't have to be real big up front. And Benton taking advantage of those angles, and they've been able to pick up a couple of first downs here and have it at the 46-yard line. Here's Patton in motion on the tall sweep. He's hit for a loss in the backfield. And that's Milton Harrell who jets in from his secondary position. Loss of 1. And right there you see the Amite speed really come on the attack.
Well, you do, Mark, but one thing that concerns me is you see Harrell coming up so fast from his safety position. You know, it's almost like Amite speed play. You know, eventually they're going to be in a one-on-one situation where a guy could be wide open, mainly the tight end.
It's a very swiftly moving football game. Just over 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. Here's Minton in motion. Feaster turns, hands Washington. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. Falls forward for a couple. Dorsett Buckles knifes through and makes the tackle. And Buckles seems to be there play in and play out, and that time it was no different.
Well, yes, it does, Mark, and I'm getting all choked up, and mainly because I'm talking about Dorsett Buckles. You know, every Amite game you see, Dorsett Buckles continues to make plays, and it's been no different tonight. But third down, last week against Notre Dame, Amite had Notre Dame in 8 third down positions, and Notre Dame got them. So the third down problems have converged into this game. Hopefully Amite can get a stop on this third down.
Benton has 3rd and 9. This is Calvin Hall into the ball game. Feaster play action. He'll run with the football. Hit, slides, is short of the first down to about the 46-yard line of Amite. He'll be short by about 1.5 yards. His knee hit, and he bounced forward, and he's short of the first down. That's an excellent spot by the official to see his knee go on the ground.
So now if you're Benton, Mark, do you punt? I think you got to punt the ball, because if you don't get it here, it gives all the momentum with Amite. So, you know, Benton on the punt, but you never know. There could be a fake punt in their repertoire.
Well, you have to kick it away if you're Mitch Downey, because you look to pin Amite back deep on a punt here and make them drive the length of the football field. Pretty good snap. It's a high end-over-end kick. This will be Carter at the 17-yard line. Breaks a tackle, has running room in the open field, breaks up to about the 36-yard line where he's forced out of bounds. And, you know, we talked about Benton maybe wanting to punt. Hey, maybe they should have went for it.
Well, no doubt about it. An excellent return right there by Jarrell Carter, getting Amite good field position in the 35. Now, we saw Benton make a few adjustments offensively, had minimal success. Now let's see what Donald Career decides to do with his first offensive series.
It's hard to believe that Benton chose to kick the ball to him. As Jarrell Carter's, my umbrella's attacking us here. Here's Batiste, hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks a tackle, falls forward for 1. And Benton's game plan coming in is just to blow up the line of scrimmage. They're not going to let Batiste run the football. They saw Notre Dame last week do the same thing. And that's something, quite frankly, that most of Amite's opponents this year didn't do.
Well, it is, Mark, and, you know, it's exactly what they didn't do, and they didn't stop Batiste, and Notre Dame stopped him, and Benton just took a page out of their book. And then with this rain, it kind of negates Amite's speed. So Amite, you know, may be in a bit of a trouble.
See, play action, fake, wide open receiver is Thompson. He has the football, 25-20, and he slips down there trying to break a tackle. But again, when you commit 9 and 10 men at the line of scrimmage, that's candy from a baby. And Damian Thompson caught the football for the first down.
And what it was a poise of Brandon Wagner sitting back in the pocket and connecting to Damian Thompson. Now, Amite has been down here before, Mark, and it's time to capitalize.
Kenny Minton saved the touchdown, forcing Thompson to cut back. He slipped, and Amite has it at the 18-yard line, 1st and 10, driving here in their initial possession of the second half. Here's Batiste, zone stretch right side, cuts it back, and he's swarmed under there for about a gain of 1 or 2. And they saw the Independence film, they saw the Winsboro film, they saw Batiste basically win those football games. They saw Notre Dame last week shut Batiste down. Notre Dame had a chance to win, and that's what they're going to do here tonight.
Well, they are, Mark, but I just can't believe that somebody can shut down Batiste all night. But Benton has done this, and, you know, basically Batiste is just outmanned with them creating that push up front. But, you know, I'd look for Batiste to get one big play tonight.
Here's Batiste again, has some running room, cuts out, and he's dropped for a loss. And Benton, Marty, they have 8 and 9 men at the line of scrimmage. Amite does not have enough blockers to take on Benton up front, and he's just not going to be able to run the football, and they're going to have to find yardage elsewhere as they have all night long.
Well, they are, Mark, and you know, if you're CJ Batiste, you come in with over 1,000 yards, you're arguably one of the best backs in this parish, you got to be somewhat frustrated. But we saw last week he didn't get the ball, and he blocked very well, and he was important last week. So
Amite, another 3rd and long. Here's Batiste in motion, play action, man open. It's complete, that's Huron, and he'll be close to a first down inside the 7-yard line, and that should be good enough for the Warrior first down.
Well, Mark, before the game, I talked about one particular young man, Damian Huron, only a sophomore. Last week, nobody would notice this, but maybe me and the coaches. He made an excellent one-handed catch for a first down last week to keep a drive going, and that young man is a great athlete. In the spring game, you told me about Damian Huron, so, you know, Donald Career using a variety of athletes. You can't stop one guy.
The sticks are on the ground. Amite has it 1st and goal. This is Perry, tries to cut it back, turns the corner. Nice inside, touchdown, Warriors! Oscar Perry on the speed sweep, and Marty Morgan, he cut it back inside, saw the seam, and bolted like lightning into the end zone.
Well, and like we talked about Oscar Perry, Mark, it looks like he's on skates out there, and all of a sudden he gives you that big burst of speed, and what can you say? You know, Amite, they're down, and of course they're not down by the scoreboard, but they come out with a same type drive last week. They were down at Notre Dame. They drove it 60 yards for the score, and now they come out with their first possession of the second half and make a statement to go up 6-0 as Damian Thompson with the all-important PAT, and it is no good, and that could loom large in this game, Mark.
Now, Damian Thompson, normally a reliable field goal kicker and extra point guy, but Marty, he plays every down, and he's got to rush to get a shoe on. Right there, he had to rush to avoid the delay of game penalty, and I don't know if he had enough time to get mentally set to make that extra point.
Well, no, he didn't, and Mark, like you say, the rushing factor, he has a tremendous leg, and right there, and you know, with Amite up 6-0, that could be a big, big play in this ball game. But nevertheless, with 3:41 to go in the 3rd quarter, we have got a great one brewing here in Russell Memorial Stadium.
And Benton again choosing to make Brandon Wagner and Oscar Perry beat them tonight, and so far they're doing it. As Batiste has been held basically in check. He has had some second effort runs of 4 and 5 yards, but for the most part he's been shut down. But Amite, as all good teams do, Marty, they're able to adjust in the coaching box. And got to take your hat off to Donald Career, Sonny Wall, Gary Lewis, David Townsend, Sporty Davis. I mean, Mark Vining. This coaching staff is probably the most underrated coaching staff in the state of Louisiana, as Thompson puts a high hanging foot into it. Hall from the 2. Back up on the middle wedge, breaks into the secondary, up to the 32-yard line, 35, and a good run back by the Benton Tigers, where they'll be in business at the 35.
Well, Mark, as we didn't see last week, but we heard and read, you know, this is a Benton team that fell behind at one of the top programs in the state, St. James. So, you know, this is a resilient bunch. Hey, going down by 1 score probably does not bother them too much.
It's the first time they had trailed all year, and they showed that they have the character and the capability to come from behind from a 2-touchdown deficit to a powerhouse of the likes of St. James. They have it 1st and 10 at the 35. Man in motion is Minton. He'll have it on the speed sweep. He slips in the backfield. Ephraim Okacha comes up from his outside linebacker position and says, no, sir, loss of 2.
Well, that was a good job by Okacha right there, Mark. But, you know, you talk about the field playing on Amite's speed sweep right there. Benton tried a speed sweep, and Descani right there kind of slipped, and he lost a couple yards. So it's a 2nd down and 11, and, you know, it's no time to rest if you're on Amite's defense.
And this high-powered Benton offense has been held almost totally in check here tonight. 2nd and 11. Ball at the 34. This will be Feaster. Play action pass. Wants to slant. It's complete. And my goodness, Warford gave up all kinds of cushion. And he threw it on the money. And I thought it was going to be intercepted. But, Marty, you just can't give up that kind of cushion on a slant play.
And right there we see that Feaster doing a nice job. He sat back in the pocket, and he completed that pass, picking up a big 1st down for Benton, and probably giving him a little momentum.
That was a 17-yard or 15-yard slant play, and he was still 6 yards off of him when he caught the football. 1st and 10, ball at the 47. Feaster looks over the offense. Play action pass, wants to throw it. This ball's going to be picked off. Jarrell Carter has the football, gets a block, breaks inside 45, 40, still on his feet, out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And Feaster had a man open, but he underthrew the football. Jarrell Carter breaking on it like the hawk he is, and picks it off for the Warriors' 2nd interception of the night.
Well, Mark, you don't hear a lot about Jarrell Carter because he plays the strong safety position and only making tackles, but make no bones about it, he's one of the best defensive backs in the entire state at any level, and only a junior. And right there, Jarrell Carter doing an excellent job for Amite.
You have to wonder what Benton's thinking in their press box. They tried to throw 2 passes tonight over the middle, both of them intercepted easily. And you just kind of wonder the strategy there, but Amite will take it with Perry in motion. Here's Wagner. Batiste is hit and dropped for a loss. And Amite will be guilty of illegal procedure. Hopefully for Amite, this will be prior to the snap.
Well, I think it will be prior to the snap, Mark. And, hey, you know, you got to give Donald Career credit. Although they are stopping CJ Batiste, he's going to CJ to set up other things. And that's exactly what this offense does. To be quite frank with you, it's hard to stop.
I got to tell you, right there, I'm not sure if that should have been a dead ball, and Amite should have it 1st and 15, but they let the play go as it'll be 2nd down and 11. So Benton in a little bit of a break there, as Amite will have it 2nd and 11, ball at the 43. And you're right, Amite setting up the pass with Batiste. Here's Perry in motion. Play action, looking, fires it, has a man down there again. It's complete. Thompson, touchdown. Warriors from Brandon Wagner, and he blew right by the Benton secondary. And Marty, you could see it coming the whole way. They bit, and he just blew right by him.
Well, they did, and that was an excellent pass, an excellent catch, and you may stop one component of this offense, but you can't stop all components. And right there, Damian Thompson, he has been the giant killer all year long. What great hands that young man has. And Brandon Wagner, under duress, probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in this area, but he did the job. And Mark, you know, you tell me time and time again, as me and you talk a lot, how valuable Brandon Wagner is to this team. And once again, he showed why he is.
I'll tell you what, Marty, I really like him. He is definitely improved. Here's the PAT, and this time it is right down the middle and good. But going back to that touchdown, Benton was caught looking into the backfield with their secondary. They were actually turned to run with him before he got by him, but you cannot be set in concrete and have a guy running full speed, and I saw it. As soon as he caught up even with him, it was all over but the crying.
And you know, Damian Thompson, he doesn't look very fast, or we don't hear about his blazing speed, but all he does game in and game out is get behind defenders. As he is a stocky young man, he looks to go, what, about 5'11", 200, and he's obviously got a few jets behind him. That's
another excellent play call by this Amite offensive coaching staff. And they know what they're doing, Marty, and they have Benton reeling here, up 13-0. And the folks are up on their feet, and let's see if we can listen to the crowd. Thompson to kick off. A deep, high-hanging kick. This will come down in the end. No, it's going to be at the 2-yard line. This is Hall. Right up the gut and slips and falls at the 22, where the Sharks are in the water and the Warriors are beginning to swarm.
Well, they are, Mark, and it's time to take a little break and hear from our sponsors. Tonight's game being brought to you by Napa Auto Stores, located in Amite at 748-7111, and also People's Bank of Amite. For the people, by the people, we are People's Bank. Call us at 748-9476, member FDIC and equal housing lender. Now, Mark, if you're Benton, you cannot panic and just continue to throw. There's plenty of time to go in this game.
Well, still plenty of time. 1:29 to play in the third quarter. Benton has to do what's got them here, and they'll do just that. This is be a handoff, and still on his feet is Washington. He's hit hard by Marbury Wilson, but not before he picks up the first down. And Marbury Wilson, also Morgan Reed in on the tackle. And I tell you what, he got the first down, but he paid the price doing it.
Well, he did, as he was gang tackled by this Warrior defense. And, you know, Mark, right now, Amite's got Benton back on their heels. But, you know, you don't become 13-0 and come this far. And also, remember, they trailed 14-0 against a tough St. James team, so they can come back.
Just over 1 minute to play and counting. 1st and 10, ball at the 33. Feaster with another long snap count has Calvin Hall in the football game. On the toss sweep, he's hit and stacked up for a gain of 1. Buckles on the tackle, along with Ephraim Okacha and others. Also coming up for the Warriors is Chris Gordon. So Amite starting to swarm defensively, and quite frankly, they look like they're fired up and into this football game.
Well, they are, Mark, and, you know, they came out maybe a little flat early on, but like they've done all year, they've been resilient, and we're getting down to 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. And, folks, stay tuned, because we'll have one whale of a fourth quarter for you.
2nd and 8 after a gain of 2. This is Minton in motion. Handoff Washington, hit and drop for a loss. In the backfield, Chris Gordon knifing in from his outside linebacker position. And this high-powered Benton offense, as we will head to the fourth quarter, has been stymied here for 3 quarters.
Well, they have, Mark, and to be quite honest with you, you know, doing all the Ponchatoula games and you doing most of the Independence games, I know you've done a couple Amite games, but I don't know that Amite's played this well defensively all year, and they're not playing the little school of the blind. You got to tip your hat to Sporty Davis and Coach Joe English, who mainly fool with the defense for coming up with a plan thus far that has been very good.
Well, they have certainly, I mean, they've given up a couple of first downs, but that's been about it. And when they have, they forced the turnover. And Benton has really been unable to get anything going from a sustained fashion on the ground here tonight. Again, they've had a few plays here and there, but that has been it. And they've only broken into Amite territory one time. As we head to the fourth quarter, Warriors dominating this football game by a score of 13-0. And quite frankly, Marty, had it not been for a penalty in the first half, this could be turning into a blowout. As the Benton Tigers have it at the 34. Feaster with two backs behind him. Another long snap count. He'll play action fake. Looking, has a man down there. This is in, nearly intercepted. It is. Milton Harold on the tip. Gets the good block, reversing field. Still in the open field. Crushing block. My goodness, Leonard Brumfield absolutely destroyed Johnny Washington. And I'm telling you, you can hear it all the way into the press box.
And Leonard Thompson and Chris Gordon, they just laid licks that, like you say, could hear it all the way from the press box. And these are a wild bunch of Warriors, Mark, and they better turn the oven down because the heat is coming.
And I got to tell you, I've been watching high school football, college football, NFL football for a long time, and you will never, ever see a hit any better than the one Leonard Brumfield laid on Johnny Washington at about the 45-yard line. My goodness. Here's Perry in motion. Quarterback counter, cuts it inside. He'll be hit and dropped for a gain of 1. At this point, Amite, all the momentum, just want to run that clock, and they'll be glad to do just that. You can look for Donald Career, perhaps keep this thing on the ground.
And Mark, what had become, you know, a very boring game, to say the least, in the first half, has gotten quite exciting, especially if you're a Warrior fan. And but, you know, it's 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, as we saw last week against Notre Dame. When Notre Dame had all the momentum, Milton Harold stripped the ball and gave it back to Amite. So with one big play, the momentum could change. So CJ Batiste rattles off a 9-yard game close to the first down.
I was just about to say, Marty, for one of the few times tonight, Benton has gotten away from 8 and 9 in a box, and they had to go to a 7-man front, and Amite able to get zone blocking and get bodies on the Tigers, and as a result, Batiste has some room to run and picks up 9, and it's all about scheme. And Amite forcing Benton to do things differently defensively, and that's going to open up CJ Batiste. 3rd down and 1. Amite looking to convert here and drive a nail in the coffin of the Benton Tigers. 10:25 and counting, and Brandon Wagner will just watch the back judge and let the clock run down before he snaps the football. Here's a zone play as Batiste cuts it inside, still on his feet, and hammers forward for about 5 in the Warrior first down.
And now Amite just going to the big horse. He's trying to go to the well and get fed, and he's doing just that, as CJ Batiste has picked up 14 yards on 3 carries, getting Amite the first down, and down in Benton territory, down to the 20-yard line, and trying to put the dagger in the heart of these gamely Tigers.
And even if they can't convert here, Benton's going to have an uphill battle to move the football and score twice in less than 9 minutes to play in this football game. Here is Wagner again, hands to Batiste, cuts it back, and he is hammered there by Lawrence. But right there, that was a battle of 2 studs right in the middle of the line of scrimmage, and Batiste won the war.
Well, he did, Mark. And, you know, me and you saw a little bit of Benton on film, and maybe on film they didn't look as good. But in person, they are a physical football team, very physical.
Well, they're not overly big, but Lawrence and Stroud present, and also Calvin Hall give you 3 athletes on the field that can play for anybody. And we saw Lawrence right there go head-to-head with Batiste, but Batiste pushed it for 4. Wagner under center, calls for it. Batiste cuts it back, hits Lawrence again, and runs over him one more time. This time Lawrence did a little better job of holding his ground, but not before Batiste bowls him over for 4 yards.
And Batiste, we talked about it, you know, they kept him quiet for 3 quarters, and now Batiste starting to exert himself with a 3rd down and 3. And Mark, should Amite not pick up this first down and it becomes a 4th and short, what do you do?
Well, at this point, they'll probably kick the field goal. That would make it 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. However, we still have two-point conversions, and Amite still has a 3rd down to play with. Here's Perry on the speed, cuts the corner, and has the first down out of bounds, or close to it. And let's see where they spot it. We're kind of blocked off here by the fans here at Russell Memorial, but it's good enough for the first down, and Amite on the march. And quite frankly, this is a ball game. Amite has really controlled the entire ball game. It was 0-0 at half, but I think those that watched this contest knew they were in charge.
Well, they did, and you know, Amite did control it, did not get the scores, and now Amite bringing in some meat into this lineup. As you see Brumfield and Buckles, and they are certainly going to pound it to the left side. But hey, who knows with Donald Career, as he is a magician at calling plays. He confuses anybody.
Zone play cut back by Batiste. Amite out of that bunch formation. This will be a gain of 1 or 2 as we have the football inside the 10 down to about the 8 where it's second down and goal. Amite completely in control of this football game. Benton with, Marty, if my memory serves me correctly, just 4 or maybe 5 first downs in the entire ball game.
And it's been the Amite defense has been the story. The 2 turnovers by Jarrell Carter and Milton Harrell, and bringing this clock down to 7:48 to go in the game. And Amite once again threatening. Second down and goal.
Wagner hands Batiste, has some running room, breaks a tackle, and waltzes into the end zone for the Warrior touchdown. And that, my friend, has broken the backs of the Benton Tigers.
Well, it has, Mark, and you know, you got 7:38 to go in the game, and Amite has stretched their lead to 19-0, but, you know, it's been a great game thus far, and this Benton team came out. They had a nice game plan, but, you know, when you prepare for Amite, Mark, you have to stop so many things and do so many different things, and they have so many athletes that they throw on there. You know, quite frankly, when you look at a tape, you say, do I take away this guy, this guy, this guy? And if you looked at it tonight, there is about 8 different guys offensively that have been a part in the success of Amite.
And Donald Career calls the timeout, wants the 2-point conversion. Marty, here's some words of our sponsor.
Tonight's game being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Quality parts, great service, and super prices are what you will find at Napa Auto Parts. We invite everyone to experience the Napa Auto Parts winning tradition. At Napa Auto Parts, 209 South 1st Street in Amite. Call us at 748-7111. And also, People's Bank of Amite. For the people, by the people, we are the people. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. That's People's Bank at 748-9476. And we'd like to thank our sponsors for bringing this game to you.
Amite trying for 2. Wagner play action fake, and it's complete to Thompson for the 2-point conversion, and Amite converts and leads this one with 7:38 to play, 21-0. And Marty, Amite right now looks like they're well on their way to the Superdome next week to take on either Carr Magnet or Turlings Catholic. And they are looking to pick up where Independence left off the last 2 years, and you have to say that with Independence going the last 2 years, Amite going this year, plus a 94 state championship, the District 8-3A may be the toughest district in the state of Louisiana.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, you talk about a good Independence team this year who lost a heartbreaker to Carr, but and it very well could be that Carr team that Amite faces in the Superdome. But getting back to the game at hand, you know, I see every coach who is a coach, Charles Baglio, Carmen Moore, Allie Smith, Mark Catalanato, and a few others, you know, this offense that Amite runs, if I was a coach from another team, wouldn't you take some variations off of it?
Well, it depends on your personnel too, Marty. Amite has the personnel to run what they do run. And, you know, these other coaches are successful with what they do, but you're right, Amite certainly some weapons in their arsenal that are very tough to stop. Here is Thompson. Deep kick, this should go to the end zone. Hall will watch it, sail through the back of the end zone, and Benton will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and they're starting to show some frustration as players starting to push and shove, and you hate to see that late in the ball game.
Well, yes, you do, Mark, and but nevertheless, Amite has bolted to a 21-0 lead. And Mark, I mean, we've seen it throughout the year. How do you stop this Amite offense? I mean, if you're a coach, you're a football guy that knows a lot, like studies it, watches it, how do you stop them?
Well, basically, you have to have better players than they do, first of all, because they spread you out so well. They're so physical up front. There's only been a few teams in the last 2 years that have been able to shut them down. And, you know, those teams have played for state championships or gone deep in the playoffs. So Amite certainly one of the best offensive teams in Louisiana. As Calvin Hall is tripped up in the backfield. That's big James Brown on the tackle. And we have an injury down on the field, and he's in pain, and you definitely hate to see injuries at this point in the year.
Well, you're doing a young man, a lineman for Benton, you know, his last game, and he is in excruciating pain, as it looks like it could be a knee, Mark, and you just hate to see that. So the medical staff will attend to the young man right there, and we just hope and pray that he is all right, because he is in severe pain. And with that, we're going to take a break.
The injured Benton Tiger, as we check the roster up under the aid of some of the Benton training staff, carried off the field, looked like it was a knee or an ankle. Nonetheless, the Tigers have it 2nd and 10. Here's Feaster, straight drop back, looking, fires it. It's going to be incomplete. And Amite just content right there just to give up the completion. And Marty, he floated that ball some 3 or 4 seconds in the air. There was nobody around it but a Benton Tiger.
Well, I know, Mark, and that's, you know, Amite, they play the bend but don't break defense, so right there, a defender might have slipped or caught out of position. But Amite, if Benton's going to throw, they're going to blitz the linebacker and mainly Dorset buckle. So Feaster better have his chin strap buckled tight.
It is very tough to beat Amite deep. I mean, they are not going to give up the big play, and if they do, you have to be very good to get it. Here's Feaster, straight drop back again. He'll run with the football, and he is hammered and falls forward, and he should have the first down on second effort. Brought down on the play by Gordon and company. And right there, Feaster just took what he was given, and he should have the first down and does. And that's only, I believe, the 6th first down of the ball game for the Benton Tigers. They have had tough going moving the football here tonight, outside of a couple of long runs. Feaster gives, straight handoff, this time bowling forward. And up for about 4 or 5 yards is number 5 on the play. Morgan Reed on the tackle, and he's a young man who, quite frankly, Marty, this Amite defense is so good, and Morgan Reed plays in the secondary, that he hardly ever gets on action because they can't get to him.
Well, they do, but what Morgan Reed does, he's a very smart player, and he does everything that he's taught to do. And this year he's returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns, and a young man keeps the defense in order. And, you know, this defensive backfield unheralded, so to speak, but they have done the job.
And he has improved tremendously. We've seen him over the last 3 years just get better and better. But again, the Amite defense is so good that, you know, when he makes a play, it's very, very rare that they ever get to him, but he can make it when they get there. And right there we saw Calvin Hall on the first down reception. Feaster back to throw. This ball has a chance to be intercepted, and it's broken up by Warford. And Benton, with no choice here, they have to air it out. And Feaster coming in and just completed 22 passes the entire year. And Feaster, a transfer from Airline, he quarterbacked the Airline 10-1 ball club a year ago.
Well, Mark, I did not know that, but I think the young man, Feaster, only a junior? And, you know, he's got a bright future, a good-looking athlete, Feaster. And Benton has a few guys coming back next year, so their future is promising.
2nd down and 10. Amite was playing 4 deep, way off of the Benton receivers. Here's Feaster, has a man open, fires it. This ball would have been intercepted, but Dorset Buckles slipped. Buckles had it read the whole way and was going to break on the football, but unfortunately he slipped and fell to the turf.
Well, he did, and you know, Amite kind of putting more men back, noticing that Benton is throwing the ball. So right now, 3rd and 10, and Benton's just going to go back and throw it, and Spencer Feaster is going to be a meal for somebody before the night's over.
3rd down and 10. Tigers at the 47 or 48-yard line. Feaster hands off. This is Doty. He'll have the first down as he gets into Amite territory to the 46-yard line. And right here, Benton basically, Marty, they're just going for a cosmetic score, trying not to get shut out.
Well, they are, and they're actually, you see how well Benton is coached. You know, they're going to the 2-minute drill, and they're doing quite nicely a good job as they have marched it across the 50 down to the Amite 46-yard line. And Amite wanting to have some pride and keep the shutout intact.
First down, Tigers, 46. Feaster, straight drop. Looks, fires. It's incomplete, intercepted. That's Warford. Another tip ball. That's the third tip ball interception of the ball game, the fourth for Feaster tonight. And the Warriors have it, 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line.
And Amite, you know, defensively, kind of the unheralded group, the defensive backs, but Patrick Warford, Milton Harold, Morgan Reed, and Jarrell Carter have really stepped up their game tonight, as well as the whole defense has done, and it's been a difference maker tonight.
So they meet with the football. They will win this football game, barring some major turn of events. And they'll have it for one more offensive possession here from the 26-yard line. This will be Batiste on the carry. He'll cut it back. Has running room up to about the 20 or 33 or 34-yard line. Gain of about 8 on the play.
And right there, you see the cutback ability of CJ Batiste. He runs to the outside on a sprint draw, cannot find a hole, and then he cuts it back in, picking up 7 yards, bringing it 2nd down and 3. As we are down to the 5-minute mark in this game, and Amite leading 21-0.
It's been a dominant performance by the Warriors here tonight. Really bouncing back after a scare last week. 2nd down and 3. Wagner looks over center, has Perry in motion. He'll turn, hand off to Batiste, and he's met at the line of scrimmage, and that'll be it. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2. Ball at the 35. Amite with a knockout punch, both offensively and defensively. Oscar Perry got him on the board with a speed sweep play from 7 yards away. Warriors come right back with Brandon Wagner finding Damian Thompson on a long touchdown pass. And the Warriors put the nail in the coffin with CJ Batiste from 9 yards out to make it 21-0. Here's Batiste on the give. He'll be swarmed under and dropped for a loss. Warriors will have to kick it away. And again, Batiste, the last 2 weeks, very frustrated, just no place to go.
Well, no place to go indeed, Mark, but late in the 3rd quarter and early in the 4th quarter, he did exert himself, and he picked up some tough yards. But what Amite did tonight was they used CJ Batiste to get other points. And, you know, like we talked about and we keep talking about, you can shut down one component of this offense, but you can't shut down all components.
Timeout is called by Benton. And if you're Mitch Downey, you hate to use a timeout when you're going to get the football back, but they'll call the timeout. With that break, we'll take a break back after this break. Derek Hornsby will do the punting for the Amite Warriors. Calvin Hall deep to receive. This is a high hanging kick by Hornsby. Hall will drift back to his 23, tries to break a tackle, and he is hammered and pushes forward on the play up to about the 32-yard line. Calvin Hall, again, a very impressive athlete. 6'1", 200 pounds, being recruited by the likes of Arkansas, LSU, and others. And the Tigers will have it again, 3:08 to play. And right here, if you're Benton, you just want to try to put something on the board to avert the shutout.
Well, you do, Mark. And, you know, we didn't, we didn't think Benton was this good. And, you know, they're very well coached. They're very physical. And they had a great game plan tonight. But quite frankly, Amite just had better players and had a better night tonight and was the better team. As Amite defensively has just been flying to the ball.
Like Calvin Hall fumbled the football out of bounds over there. It was laying on the turf, and as he fumbled it, he actually picked up a couple of extra yards. And Picks up about, 7 or 8 yards on the play, 2nd down and 8. You know, this Benton team certainly no respect all year, I would say, for most people, but they were ranked 2nd coming in, so that's about as good a respect as you'll find. Here is a wide open receiver, breaks a tackle. Morgan Reed with a nice hit, still on his feet, and he brings him down at the 45-yard line. Morgan Reed doing an excellent job to wrap up the ball carry, and a flag is down. And let's see, this is on. It's going to either be on James Thomas or Ryan Brown for Benton for unsportsmanlike conduct. Let's see who they call the penalty on. It's going to be a personal foul against Amite. So that's going to give Benton 15 more yards. Or no, it's not. It's going to offset. But again, Donald Anderson was standing. Well, as the fans are unruly here tonight. But nonetheless, it's going to be offsetting penalties.
Yeah, and it looks like a Benton offensive lineman was trying to tackle James Brown, and James didn't much like it, and he kind of flicked him with a big left and threw him down to the turf. But they're going to call offsetting penalties, and, you know, you don't want to see it get nasty here at the end. And, you know, Benton has nothing to lose, so they, you know, they're going to go all out and do whatever they can to score.
Benton picking up some cosmetic yardage here late in the ball game as Amite just content to give up that short pass, and they'll just lay off the Benton receivers, and they can have that all night if they want it. Here's Feaster looking. He'll try to go deep. This could be intercepted again. The ball is tipped up and incomplete as it's knocked away. Morgan Reed getting back there to break it up, and you know, Marty, we talk about not mentioning Morgan Reed's name that much, but the last seems like 5 or 6 plays he's been involved.
Well, he has, and he was a young man against Kentwood when Kentwood was threatening that knocked the ball away early on to give Amite the momentum in that game. And, you know, the little games, the victory against Kentwood, the victory against Hammond went a long way by giving Amite confidence and being undefeated and showing that no one could beat them. So Benton completes Feaster, only a junior, Mark. You know, maybe Coach Conway for Benton may want to ditch the wing T because that young man threw that ball 30 yards like a dart on an out pattern.
Marty, that's just too much cushion to give up. They're giving up 20 yards cushion. He's throwing it 15 yards downfield, and they are 10 to 15 yards off of him, and you can score quickly. It don't take you but 3 or 4 plays to put it in the end zone. And this will be Doty on the give, and he is hit at the line of scrimmage and upended by Leonard Brumfield. And Brumfield has come to play tonight. He's been very physical. We've already seen him lay out one Benton offensive player, and right there, just picked Doty up and dumped him. 2nd and 10, 2 minutes to play. Here's Feaster back to throw. Looking and fires. This is nearly intercepted, and we're going to have and if they call pass interference on that, that is the worst call in the history of football because the Amite defender, first of all, the ball was tipped, so it shouldn't be interference, and that is terrible. That is the worst call in the history of football. The Amite defender was 10 yards away from him, and Marty, that is terrible.
That is absolutely terrible. And the guy that caught it has no athletic ability whatsoever. He goes about 6'2", 99 pounds, well maybe 102 with this rain when you consider him soaking wet, and he just wants to get his name in the paper, his picture on television. Well, we've got him on FPTV Channel 17, the nerd who made that call.
Quite frankly, that's embarrassing to throw that flag as Benton jumps, and they don't throw the flag. And the pass is caught, and it's easy to see. Ball's fumbled, and Amite has it, I believe. I know it's out of bounds. But officials helping Benton out here, no question about it, trying to help them put one in the end zone.
Well, they are, and now you see with 1:50 to go, you see a Warrior down, and, you know, with next week's game, you just don't want that to happen, Mark, and I hope it's not Dorset Buckles, because if it is, no, it isn't. Whoever it is on this defense, all 11 of them have played, and we just hope that a young man is not hurt. So, as the Warrior trainers and the sports medical staff attend to this young man, we'll talk about some other things, Mark. I know this is going to be taped, but, you know, there's an interesting game going on in Baton Rouge right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are excited to hear this as Evangel and Catholic High are tied in the third quarter at 22.
So certainly an interesting score, but if there was one football team in Louisiana that most people felt could match up with Evangel for as far as scheme goes and from the coaching aspect, that was Catholic. Both teams are very innovative, and that was considered to be a tighter ball game than a lot of people thought going in. I know Dennis Nunn was worried about it coming into tonight, and quite frankly, Evangel's a tired, beat-up football team. They've had to travel the last 3 weeks, and they played a very physical game with John Ehret. I saw that game on TV last week on a replay, and Ehret got after him pretty good, as did Ouachita 2 weeks ago. So however that game comes out, it should be very interesting, but still trying to find out an injury, or the injury for Amite as we look. Is Troy Brumfield, I believe, number 76. And you hate to see anybody injured, but that may be a cramp the way he's walking. We just have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Benton has it 2nd down and 8. Or 7, I should say. 1:50 to play. Ball at about the 12-yard line. And it's going to take Brumfield a little while to get off the field. He's coming off on his own power. And if we could get Marty Morgan to get his radio on, we might be able to have a score for you from the Carr-Turlings game before we go off the air. Not that it matters, we're tape delay, but I'd like to know nonetheless. 1:50 to play. Benton marching the football. Here's Feaster on the toss sweep. Hall looking. Now he'll take off and run with it. Slips a tackle, and he'll be hit and dropped. Right there in his tracks, that's number 66 for the Warriors. And checking the roster, that is Patrick Patterson on the tackle. So Patterson getting into the ball game, making a play, and we have a Benton injury on the field. And Marty, you hate to see injuries, you know, this late in the season. Both ball clubs 13-0 have come a long way, and over the last few minutes we've seen 3 players go down with tough injuries.
Well, we have, Mark, and like you say, you do not want to see injuries, especially this late in the season. And you know, with Amite having 1 game to play, and Benton going home. But you know, let's talk this Benton team. They came in tonight, and we didn't really know a whole lot about them. We knew that they were 13-0. We knew that they had beaten St. James, but what is your take on Benton tonight after watching them in person?
Well, they're a solid football team, a wing T ball club. They're appropriately heralded, no doubt about it. Ranked 2nd coming in. I'm not sure if they're the 2nd best team or not, but they're definitely worthy of being in the semifinals. And anytime you beat a team like St. James, as we're hearing a final score from Kentwood, the Roos won 28-0. So Marty, it looks like Kentwood Amite will be in the Superdome for the first time in the history of Louisiana high school football. 2 brothers will go to the same state championship classic.
And I mean, that's got to be a great story. And what proud parents they must have is, you know, your 2 sons have already won state championships, and now to go at the same time, the same year, is just a great story. And it makes it even more better that both are from our area in Tangipahoa Parish. So Donald Career and David Career, what stories those 2 have come out to be.
And there's no question both of those men are 2 of the finest coaches to ever walk the sidelines in Louisiana high school athletics. As Donald Career, one of the few, well, the only guy to take 2 different high school teams to the Superdome finals. I'm not sure if he's the only man to take 2 different high schools to state championships, but at least since they've been playing in the Superdome. And of course, David Career with 2 state championships under his belt, going for a 3rd. As Benton with 3rd down and 9 tries to put one in the end zone. Feaster will call for the football, and we'll have a handoff to Calvin Hall. He'll break inside the 5, down inside the 3 to the 2, and he'll have the 1st down. Will be 1st and goal for the Tigers. As Amite just sitting back a little bit defensively and just content to let Benton put this one in the end zone.
Well, I don't know if they're really content. I don't know if they want to let them put it in the end zone, but right there, once again, Benton got away with an illegal motion, but they did get close to the goal line, and it's a 1st and goal with exactly 58 seconds to go. And, you know, should Benton get in, they deserve it, Mark.
I guess content's the wrong word, but the intensity with a 21-0 lead isn't quite the same as it was for the first 3.5 quarters. As a timeout is called on the field. With that timeout, we'll take a break. You're watching FPTV, Channel 17. Amite on top, 21-0. Mark Willoughby, Marty Morgan back with you as Benton is at the 2-yard line, threatening to punch one in here with 48 seconds to play, and they would like to go out with a score here for their fine senior class who's led them this far. Here's a fullback give into the end zone for the touchdown, and Benton has averted the shutout here tonight on a nice offensive drive aided by some penalties. And they get on the scoreboard. It's 21-6 with 45 seconds to play.
And right there, that was a good drive by Benton. You know, you come 6 hours, you played a great game tonight. You just ran into a better team, but you know, in the end, you showed the tenacity to not to give up, and you fought to the bitter end, and you punched one in to bring the score to 21-6. And now Benton is going for 2. As Feaster will fake it and roll to his left and hit a wide open Jackson for the 2-point conversion, bringing the score with 45 seconds. Amite 21 and Benton 8. And Mark, I've been impressed with Spencer Feaster tonight.
Yeah, he's done well. Again, he's probably completed half as many passes tonight as he's completed all year. Just 22 passes on the year coming into this ball game in 13 games. That's only like 1 or 2 per contest. But here tonight, he's probably completed at least 10 or 12. And that was an excellent throw and catch there. And Benton, a game football team here tonight. They didn't quit. They showed it on their last drive, putting it into the end zone. But again, it's too little too late. Amite already had it well in hand. And they'll win this ball game more than likely 21-8. But I'm sure Benton will try to come up with an onside kick here. Stranger things have happened. And, an onside kick, a big play, and a score, and then another onside kick, and you never know. But if Amite recovers, it's hay in the barn. 45 seconds as the Tigers set up for the onside kick. And it's a pretty good one. Benton will have a chance at it. Amite has it. Warford will have it on the return to the 34. Flag is down. That's going to be on Benton, and it'll be declined, and Amite will control the football.
Well, it is going to be an offsides, I think, against Benton, but it'll surely be declined by Amite, and Amite will have the ball, and they'll just have to kneel on it, and they'll march their way to New Orleans, Mark, to the Superdome, and 94, Amite went to the Superdome and captured an undefeated state championship, and they're going to try it back in 99.
Well, they're going to have to kick it again because it's an automatic dead ball when you're offsides. Neutral zone violation, so Benton gets a break, actually, and they'll get an opportunity to try this again. With 42 seconds to play, really should still be 45 seconds. It's theoretically no time should have come off the clock, but apparently they're not going to put it back on. So that was a fairly well executed onside kick. It got the high bounce that Benton wanted. Came right to Warford. He almost returned that one for 6. This won't go 10 yards, and the ball bounces around, and Amite should have it. Back at around the 47-yard line. That ball did not go 10 yards. It hit a Benton defender at about the 42-yard line, and Amite should have it right there. So the Warriors and Kangaroos will advance from Tangipahoa Parish to the Louisiana Superdome next week, where they will play for the state championship at the 1A and 3A levels. Kentwood will take on Oak Grove, who was 40-3 winners tonight over Port Sulphur. Kentwood, of course, 28-0 winners over Laurelville. Amite will take on the winner of Carr and Turlings. Carr was winning that ball game 7-0 the last time we heard. So depending on how that ball game came out, Carr or Turlings will await Amite next week. Fans are really loud and boisterous here behind us, and we can barely hear ourselves talk.
That's not because it is.
With 39 seconds to play, Brandon Wagner will take a knee, and Amite will advance to the Superdome for the first time since 1994, where they defeated St. James 38-21 for the state title, and that should do it. Benton fans across the way, nothing to be ashamed of. 13-1 coming in. Or 13-0 coming in. They'll fall to 13-1. Amite, of course, will advance to 14-0. And the Benton Tigers showed why they were ranked second coming in here tonight. They played very hard and were a worthy opponent for the Amite Warriors. Once again, your final score, Amite 21, Benton 8.